Aloha, it's Keanu from the 808 Whip Co. And today we're just going to do a quick look at this whip that just got finished. So what makes this whip different from anything I've done before is that, with the exception of the core and the fall, the main body of the whip is made of Dyneema. Now, at first glance, it looks just like any other regular nylon whip, but if you felt the texture of it, you could definitely tell that it isn't. So here's just a quick look of 550 cord versus Dyneema paracord. So the Dyneema, at first glance, they pretty much have the same kern mantle 7-strand construction. The sheaths look the same, but the texture of the sheaths are definitely different. If you felt the Dyneema, it's stiffer, but it's also a lot smoother, which in turn makes it more slippery. And the inner strands have 3-plait flat braid pieces of Dyneema, whereas you have twisted strands on the inside of the 550 cord. So because this is a lot more slippery, it doesn't tend to hold knots very well, and that brings me to the reason why this has an English eye. When I first tested it, the whip did not hold a regular Aussie style fall hitch very well at all. It would slip out really easily, and I think over time it would eventually just come off and be due for a repair or a redo later on along the line. So that's why I talked to the customer, and he agreed to having the English eye on this whip, and I think it's a little bit better because it makes the fall change a lot quicker and easier, and I like it actually a lot, and I think I'm going to use an English eye a lot more now that I've actually finally done it. The thing about the English eye, though, is when you plait it, you actually have to plait it from the point, so you go toward the handle versus how I normally do it from the handle to the point. It's not that much different, though, and now that I've done it, I have a better idea of how to do it. And back to the slipperiness, or if that's even the right word, how slippery the whip is. If you took a piece of this and you tried to tie a knot, you'll pretty much just end up with a nice little, easy to slip out knot. The thing about this material is that it is also extremely hard to cut. First of all, you can just take a regular piece of paracord and just snip it off really easily. But if you took this Dyneema, and I was warned about this ahead of time, if you just try and cut it, well, you're pretty much going to be stuck just trying to cut it in a regular fashion like paracord. I also tried the seatbelt cutting method, which is go at an angle, but even that kind of gets it a little bit stuck. And if you try and cut it a bit more, it finally cuts it off after about 100. But that didn't work either. And bear in mind that these scissors are used to cut clothes off of people, so this having trouble with this material is kind of funny, in my opinion. So what I ended up finding out is to cut these, what you have to do is you have to line it up like that, and then bend it down, and then you can cut it off a lot easier. So that was just a learning experience for me on cutting different materials. It's probably destroying my scissors at the same time, but heck, they're only about $6 each for a pair, so it's not too bad. Now, this is what I guess we can call an Indy-based whip. He wanted an Indy-style whip, essentially. So basically all that means is an 8-inch steel handle with a diamond overlay, a 4-seam herringbone pattern all the way down the thong, and the 5-part 4-bite Turk's head knots with a 6-plait wrist loop. The only thing different that I've done about this is that it has the English eye versus the Aussie style fall hitch. And that's pretty much it for these specs. Let's get out and start cracking this thing.